insight and knowledge without their body. So here's what they're saying about some of the signs, and it really kind of gives you pause for thought here. And again, now remember, they're picking out stuff that they want to pick out. They're talking of the beginning of the sighting of this in the United States in the 33rd state, which is Oregon, and ending in South Carolina at the 33rd parallel. And they're saying that this is exactly 33 days before the Revelation 12 sign. Now, Revelation 12 signs, you have to wait until I get to that, but we'll get to that. The eclipse occurs on the 233rd day of the year, which is 33 weeks and 2 days into 2017. It's also been noted that an eclipse like this hasn't happened in 99 years. That would be 3 times 33. So this particular author says, what might God be communicating? Because this is pretty darn powerful. So minimum, it does seem to be that there's some big signage available for those who pay attention to the signs. It goes on to say that the eclipse is also exactly 40 days from Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. 40, the number 40, represents a period of testing in the Bible, as can be seen, for example, in the 40 years that the Israelites wandered in the wilderness and the 40 days that Yeshua was tested in the wilderness. This period of time, beginning on August 21st in Hebrew, is the season of Teshuvah, which in the Jewish faith is a time to get right with God before judgment falls on Day of Atonement. In other words, repent, repent. Now, in this culture, there's quite a bit of entitlement and cavalier, I don't need to repent. There seems to be no sense of atonement at all. It might be the time on that particular day to, at least within yourself, apologize to yourself for every thought that has been destructive, for every word. Go, why not? Can't hurt you. Can only help you. And my take is, as we keep dropping all of our thoughts and words and deeds, which have been harmful to ourselves, to a parent, to a spouse, to a child, to a friend, to the country, I believe that as you drop it, I now I've practiced it enough, I guarantee it, more portals, more gateways open to you. I don't know what these gateways for each and every one of you will be. That'd be ridiculous. It's a lot easier to see as we talk one-on-one. It's almost like they just, like a flare goes up and you can almost see it and feel it. But the more you drop, the bigger the gateway. He goes on to say, and this is true, a total solar eclipse only occur about every year and a half, and often they occur over the ocean rather than land, so you're not really aware of them. But don't let anyone fool you into thinking this eclipse is nothing out of the ordinary. Day will be turned to night all across the United States. And it's been 99 years since this total solar eclipse crossed the entire United States, and having another solar eclipse cross the entire United States again, forming an X just a few years later. And this is perhaps most unprecedented. So here's what happens. This arc, which if you can see easily through the internet, you can see pictures of the ark, that the first ark that's formed on Monday. And on April 8th, 2024, which isn't that far away, there's the second ark. And what people are very interested about this ark, where they intersect, it makes a cross. It's an X. And truly, X marks the spot. And what this spot is, it's a location that's very close to the new Madrid seismic fault line of the Mississippi Valley. And that's partially why real careful watchers are very interested in this and interested in looking at biblical connections, whether it be Old Testament, New Testament, out of Israel, out of Christianity, because X marks the spot. And if you look carefully at an X, if you turn it slightly, it's a cross. So there's a whole lot here where Americans have to become more humble. They have to become, again, more honorable. They have to listen again to the voice within themselves. From my take, that's part of the galactic portal that's trying to help you get there and help you remember who you are and the sense of oneness and the fact that we are all part of that with a capital T. There were some other things that, let me see where I got this in case you want to go on to and check the whole thing. It was a very long, it was like an 8-page printout, and I'm just picking out the best ones that I can find. This was on Unsealed, UNSEALED.org, the Divine Message of August Eclipse. But it's basically, you'll find it on www.unsealed.org /2017. That might get you there more quickly. So the X that will be formed over the United States, are you ready for this? It rests over a region in southern Illinois called Little Egypt. Even more, the exact point where the two paths cross is in a town by the name of Makanda, Makanda, which used to be called the Star of Egypt. So you could see why biblical scholars are having a good time with this. The eclipse occurs, as I've already told you, in conjunction with Regulus. Regulus is called the King Star. It's the brightest star in the constellation of Leo. And Leo is one of the two constellations involved in the Revelation 12 sign. The fact that this eclipse occurs in Leo, which will be part of the great sign the month after, is astonishing. It's almost as if God's trying to grab our attention on the king and in the great sign. So it's just fascinating. I'm not particularly a biblical scholar, but I find this like, I'm a muller, so I will be mulling it. Interesting, another point they say is the first major city that will witness the eclipse is Oregon's state capital. Now, this is the major city, Salem. Salem is, of course, the shortened version of Jerusalem, which is the most prophetically significant city in the entire Bible. Jerusalem was originally called Salem in the days of Melchizedek. I love Melchizedek. He's one of my buddies. So imagine, look at that switch. Jerusalem was originally Salem. It's mind-boggling to me. Isn't it interesting that the closest road to the exact point where the two eclipses cross, now it's the closest road, is called Salem Road. What are the chances? Go figure. So it goes on. It's just so fascinating to me. It goes on and on. But I want to also touch on a point of, so what's it to you? How is this going to impact you? Those of you who have your astrological charts, look, see what's at stake here. Where is Leo in your chart? Because this is going to be the whole key to everything. Leo, and where is the moon? What's your moon sign? Where is Aquarius? And if either of these two things is at 28 degrees, your life is going to have some major transformations in the next 12 to 18 months, no doubt about it. I mean, well, you could stick your head in the sand and not do a thing, but if you stick your head in the sand, you'd probably leave the planet because you're asphyxiated. So you're going to be just fine, but there's a lot at stake for you. So every house, depending on where your Leo is, this is going to personify your fiery disposition. It could trigger your leadership skills so that you become more charismatic, more self-confident. See, this on the upside is the best part of Leo. You'll look to where you've been arrogant and overly willful and pride-filled, and you might just be sick and tired of that because it's really a low frequency. And all I can assure you now, after all the work I've done here, low frequencies are not going to allow you to be in what I will call the ascension state. And that does not mean you're lifting off. It means that state of greater awareness, greater consciousness, and therefore your role in the human body is fulfilled much more easily, much more grace-filled. So keep your eyes open during this thing. Interestingly, I hope some of you do Google that website. I'm going to give it again. The Unsealed, UNSEALED.org. Simply because jeepers. It really, it does end with a lovely little picture of a roadway. There's no car on, well, you see a car in the distance maybe. But the sign is the point of no return. And under that, the word caution. And in a very proper way, I believe I'm going to be looking for on Monday for within myself a point of no return. What is it that I can no longer return to? What is it that once and for all I can firmly drop it? What little worry, what little old pattern that is so just a nuisance, that's what you look for. That's the point of no return. Some of you Leos and Aquarians and Taurus and Scorpio, you're the four fixed signs. You guys don't like change. And I would be telling you folks, please, would you get to the point of no return here? Maybe it's in career. Here's where my brain can kind of blend a few things. So let's suppose you're one of those four fixed signs, Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, and Scorpio. And let's just suppose from a feng shui point of view, you are Kan North or Li South. I would be really heavy duty, gently though, suggesting, look at your career. Is it still serving you? And I'm not talking move from point A to point B in the same thing. I'm talking take a good look. Is your career serving your life purpose in a healthy, constructive way? And if it isn't, if you can look at that on Monday and own that truthfully, you're at the point of no return. It does not mean on Tuesday morning you've got to march in